The government is shut down. Is it affected anyone yet?
Not yet.
Hey, it's gonna affect people when they don't get them tax returns.
Everybody gonna be mad, bro. Everybody gonna be mad.
So
Hey,
right now,
I seen a report. I thought it was funny, but it was I forgot which jail it was. But it was
Yeah.
saying they was eating steaks because
Okay.
the workers weren't coming
Right.
in.
Are you
they
serious?
Had, even though they had like holiday dinners. And since the workers weren't working, they gave it to the prisoners. So they
Wow.
were having like steaks and all type
so
of
no,
Hey,
you
that's
know
what's up.
what happened with that is in the federal prison.
Right.
No, in the federal prison, every holiday you get this meal. You get steak. You get every Christmas.
Making them sound like they some bad kids.
In the federal prison, yes. In the federal prison. Make sure you remember I said federal prison.
So what you saying is you should go fed instead of go.
Go big, go home.
Basically, I mean, everybody knows that. If you go to federal jail, you get treated better than state jail. Who didn't know that?
I did.
Well, most because federal people that go to federal jail, a lot of them go to federal prison for white collar crime. So they're in with the the politicians. So they always most of the time when people go to federal prison it's for white collar crime. So most of the time.
That's like where all the mobsters go, all the mob bosses.
Yeah. IRS stuff. Yeah.
Laid off, them type of niggas in them federals.
So they get
Their own kind of prison.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no,
Segregation and all that stuff. Yeah.
Like Nevin Shapiro.
they have federal
They
prisons.
had their own.
That's
like,
it.
The people who you talking about the Burning Man House, they go to like a they shit like
Segregated.
That's-
Yeah.
summer camp.
That's the
Who else?
federal prison.
What's the lady? She did the interior design. Martha Stewart. Bro, she had like an apartment, bro. That was crazy.
Federal, you gotta do all your time.
Yeah.
You gotta do all your time.
Yep,
So if
that's
you are getting your passport, that's going to
Wow.
be affected because the government is shut down. If you're getting a visa, that's going to be affected because the government is shut down.
TSA workers, right?
Gun
What about
permits, all the gun enthusiasts, your gun permit is going to be held up because the government is shut down. The national parks are closed. I tried to go to the
You can't go
trail.
to the national parks.
No. Well,
Wow.
the ones that are run by the state you can, but
Okay.
the ones that are
Federal?
run by the feds
That
you
sucks.
can't. I was trying
Is
to
they
go to
still
the
doing meal?
yes.
Okay.
I tried to go to the park the other day and it wasn't closed. You couldn't pay, which
You weren't tripping about that yet.
you couldn't pay. They had a plastic bag over the thing. So,
Wow.
the national parks are closed. So the Chattahoochee Trail, I don't know if anybody goes there. That's a federal park. So don't do anything bad in there. You'll get double the time and it's closed right now anyway. TSA workers. So Atlanta, where we are right now, is the largest airport in the world. And guess what? So many of TSA workers are calling out sick. It's becoming a threat to everyone's national security. So Trump is holding the government hostage basically because he can't get the money for this wall that is like, where are this medieval
He's like a
times?
little
Is there a
kid,
moat
man.
to? Like, is there a fucking, like, what do you mean a wall? Like, that's old school as hell. So anyway, he's
Like
not
people
getting
can't
the
fly
money.
over the wall, can? Like
None of the people that I'm afraid of are from anywhere else anyway. So I
Right.
don't care about no damn wall. But if you think that you are going to get this wall, you're not. So he doesn't care. He made it clear the other day, he doesn't care if the government is shut down for weeks or months or years until he gets the wall. Because in his mind, he ran his whole campaign on that, right?
And I was watching something, and from what Trump was saying, the Republicans are really supporting. It's really the Democrats that's stopping him from getting this wall. But from my understanding, didn't the Democrats win the House or the Senate or something like that?
Right,
Good
but
point.
there's still
That's a great question.
They
Meaning, like,
still
for the
have
wall.
to. So you have to go through the House and the Senate. So they only have control of one. So you still have to. There has to be a bipartisan
politics, man.
agreement. Like they still don't have total control. There's never going to be they do have control of that one house, that one part of the government, but they aren't budging on it. They're like, no, we're not building a wall. People are thinking maybe if they, do DACA or, in exchange for this or get money for this in exchange for that. But as it stands right now, they haven't reopened the government. So my only issue is how many TSA workers are calling out sick. Because any act of terrorism that I witnessed in this country was through the airport.
Yeah, nobody
so I
want-
need them
yeah.
to get that together.
That's
so
scary.
by him trying to say that we need national security with this wall,
Yeah.
he's jeopardizing everybody. Because the TSA workers aren't getting paid. They're
Yeah.
calling out sick.
Yeah.
You mentioned the federal prison. The federal prison guards are federal workers. They're not getting paid. So while they're giving steak to the prisoners for their annual Christmas lunch or dinner, they can't even feed their families that way.
Yep.
So that's what you were saying. The issue was because the prison guards were like, damn, the prisoners eating steak. We eat chicken in my house because I'm not getting paid.
Working for free.
So a lot of people are quitting.
But it's also he's not getting the money. He wanted 5.6 billion.
That's not enough.
1.3
But yeah, because 5 isn't even enough. Like, what he wants to do is build a concrete wall that's 100 feet tall. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And they're not going to say, okay, yeah, we'll do this, because you're wasting time, you're wasting money. Because if we build the wall, our children are just going to tear it down. In history, any border wall that's ever been built has been torn down. Like, it's old school, it's stupid. It's just him feeding his narcissism. You know what I mean? It's not.
It's fear tactics.
We're getting the wall.
How much more time?
Hey, I think so too, Lou.
Okay, so
I think so
I believe
too.
him when he say
more
we're
years
getting
he
the-
get
getting the-
Straight up.
the impeachment. I've been hearing that rumor.
So because they're in charge of that part of the government, they could pursue impeachment. But Nancy Pelosi, when she met with him the other day, she was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. We're not thinking about that. We're taking that off the table." So now he feels more empowered because she said that to him. But I'm like, Ma, why not? But at the same time, like you said, how much time does he have left? Okay, so 2019, this year and next year. So starting this year, you're gonna start seeing people start to campaign or start, building up their candidacy.
It's already a lady who's
Yeah.
doing the campaign in Iowa.
Mm.
She's doing a campaign, an early campaign.
Dang,
Yeah.
she getting started
She
super
just
early.
announced it last week.
Wow. Okay. then.
What's her name? The one that Trump was calling Pocahontas.
You call somebody
Everybody was
Pocahontas?
You
bashing
remember
her.
when she said she was Indian, so he
everybody
started
was
calling her
bashing 'cause
Pocahontas?
They said she was Indian, and they got DNA or whatever saying
Uh-huh.
that she wasn't Indian. and
What?
Yeah, she's running for president.
Okay.
But I think we getting the wall though. I still think.
Hey, I completely agree as well, man.
Trump knows the judges that they're gonna go to court with, and they're gonna side with Trump.
And like again, the same way that people were saying that Trump, he's not gonna
Elizabeth
get elected.
Warren is her name.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, I honestly I completely agree because it's the same people that's told us that he'll never be president. CNN, they were saying that for a year, and he became president. So I can't put that past him. With a
So
wall.
food stamps, the government shutdown is SNAP. That's what they call it now. They have enough money. 4.7 billion SNAP benefits were approved, so that's gonna feed everybody through the end of January. But if the government doesn't open back up, they haven't said if they'll have enough. So it's like, hurry up, because people are really in need of this money. 42 million Americans received SNAP benefits in 2017. Wow. 68% of the participants were in families with children. 44% of them are working families. So it's not like, people that have jobs already aren't going to be affected by this. This is in CBS News, because they have nonpartisan. And whenever you look at something, you want to kind of see whether it's, because people spin stuff, right? Like if there's a funded group of people by the Republicans, of course their data is going to be skewed. It's going to be representative of what they want to happen. But if you see like a nonpartisan, so the Center on Budget and Policy is a nonpartisan group that does research about government policy, and 42 million Americans received SNAP, and 68% of them were children.
Okay.
So we're talking about poor and low-income children that are going to be affected by this government shutdown, which, by the way, are the majority of Trump supporters.
That's funny, man.
So
That's funny.
yeah.
It's sad, man. Like this guy is this extreme that he could care less just to
him.
build a wall.
I didn't vote for him.
I seen a little girl. What's the one chick? I think Charlamagne was standing next to the white chick.
Tommy Loren.
I think she
Lauren?
tweeted
Yeah.
something.
Oh,
And then a
God.
little girl, I think she was like 11 years old, but she lived in Flint, and she was like, man, instead of trying to get the money for the wall, he should be trying to put this money into Flint to, she's
Easily.
like- basically, she was just saying like, we arguing over dumb shit when this shit going
Why
on in our
does
country.
this?
Still got
Simple.
bad water?
Yes.
That's
Since
what I was about to
2014,
say.
right?
That's what I was about to say.
Since 2014.
Why do y'all still live there?
I mean,
I mean, some of them probably
I
can't
think
move.
I think they all left, but it's
Yeah, some of them probably can't move.
Most people can't. I can't pick up and go right.
Let me tell you something. Let me
And look-
tell you-
Like,
let me-
most niggas can't pick up and go.
Let me tell
like,
you
some of
something.
them,
I
like,
always say this.
they have to
I'm
sell their
glad,
home.
I'm glad my
Nobody's gonna buy
freedom
that.
is not contingent upon the actions of today's black folk, because we wouldn't get shit done.
Damn, Kim, that's how you feel?
Yes. Let me tell you something. Back in the day, my grandparents got the fuck out the South. You know why? Because if shit was too
They had
fucked
to.
up and they had to leave. It was
It's
called,
a little
and a
different
lot of our
back then.
grandparents did that. It was
But,
called the
Kim-
Great
I
Migration.
got an uncle left
It's more
with
people in
$70
America.
in his pocket.
Yeah, that's straight up.
It don't happen like
Yeah.
that, bro. You talking
The
about
seven-
it's
I
Back
don't-
then, $70, but that last you 3 months, bro.
My
You good,
grandparents-
bro.
a whole 70.
I'm sorry.
You don't get in a train, a bus, or a plane.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They
Hey,
all
look at
did
the
it.
Station wagon, bro.
People
Yeah,
did what they had
it's-
to do.
it's completely
That's another
different,
thing.
though.
People
It's
did what
a
they.
different time. Kim, shit
More
is
people
expensive.
too.
It's
It
worse.
is more
It was
people.
worse then.
No, this shit is expensive.
People
as fuck
stay
right
with
now.
you know what
Yeah.
you know what we lost, and this is why people can't do stuff like that, because like the family. They didn't have shit either, but guess what? You wouldn't stay with your aunt, you wouldn't stay with your uncle. You did what the fuck you had to do to make things better for your family.
Pride, that might be a problem too.
That's what I'm saying.
But shit is expensive out here, bro.
Yeah, he's right.
You left with $70. Like,
It's different. And look, Ken, back then.
You know, it's so hard for people to conceive, and I just don't get this. Why
Mm-hmm.
don't we believe enough in ourselves, even with nothing? I hear people say, and people believe this, and people get inspired.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Oklahoma. I lived in Main Street in the small town in Oklahoma, and I went to New York with $10 in my pocket,
And I made it.
and I made it, and
Yeah.
everybody's like,
I
yes.
think it's more. I don't think it's people don't believe in themselves, but shit. I think it's more they comfortable. It's like if I'm comfortable,
It's a
why
choice,
the fuck should I change
Kanye.
what's going
Kanye
on?
said it's a
Like,
choice.
ship town for sit with
even
$60
even with like
Come
even
on.
with the black owned business
crazy.
thing, like
Because you're gonna
people
stay there and
still
die?
go to these so called racist establishments because of the convenience.
Yeah.
You feel me? I'm sure if we had a just like it's a Publix everywhere.
If we had like a black store everywhere, we would go there.
We'd be in that motherfucker.
Yeah.
I think we want to support our people.
Banks as well. You remember when
But
you said that 2
again,
weeks ago?
Again,
I just think that-
majority of the world are not leaders.
Yeah.
So if it's not there for them to get it, if it's not easy, they're not gonna go to it.
You're not gonna take that risk.
We got black owned grocery stores, bro.
We do, but we don't know where it's at.
Eight Bears over there in the West End.
Okay, but yeah, that's
And
we don't-
T.I.
we're not
is
even
making
influenced.
one.
Unless you get up and move. Back in
Yeah.
the day, you could get up and move and fall right into an opportunity.
A factory job.
Back in the day, you
yeah.
couldn't go anywhere because they were segregated. They had
Yeah.
a book that had to show black people which roads to take. That before
Yeah,
you
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
get lynched.
Hey,
What
we
are
had
you
to do
guys
a
talking
project
about?
on that. Green
What are
Book.
you guys
It was called the
talking
Green Book.
about? It
But-
was hard as hell.
Back when?
Back in the days.
What day?
That was like the 40s through the 60s.
Yeah.
Green Book. But Kim,
It's called the Jim Crow era.
yeah. But I would just say this though, Kim. Back then, it wasn't as many as black people in these industrial cities too. Like we're talking about millions of black people that left between the 40s and the 60s. Right now, if somebody try to leave from Flint, you can't go to New York, you can't go to Chicago. Even here in Atlanta, it's like oversaturated. So like you can't even go anywhere. Come on. And see, thing is, as well, and people like you have to, think about this as well. They have to sell that home. So who's gonna buy a home in Flint, Michigan?
1.6
So you
million
stuck.
people moved from rural areas to northern industrial cities in the Second Great Migration,
Yep.
1940 through 1970, which began after the Great Depression and brought at least 5 million, including many townspeople.
But also World War II though, they had like a big boom when it came to finances, economy. Like right now, like what
Yeah,
job
that's
can you
true.
have?
That I'll say, because when you move to the industrial cities, back then they had
Yeah,
like
factory jobs.
railroads,
You had Ford.
steel.
You ain't got that now.
Yeah, that's why. Now I
Detroit.
Move to what?
get it. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, black people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, black people.
Like other families were moving together.
Yeah.
I said random families.
Right.
We struggling together. We gotta get out of this shit. It ain't none of that right now for real.
Pay rent for what, like $10 a
You
month?
feel what I'm saying?
And some small hut, yeah. So it's completely different.